October rentals are no trick or treat. We have a higher number of people who have to move. These may be evictions, non-payment of rents, or for whatever reason, they are forced into a situation where they have to look for a new place to live. So screening tenants becomes much more critical in this market. Hey, what's up, all of my real estate peeps? This is Brian Lucier with another issue of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, Golden Nuggets, where we will unpack some tip, tactic, or technique and give you our insights on it. First, I want to apologize. I've got a little bit of a cold, so if I'm coughing or sound a little nasally, just bear with me and we'll get through it. And definitely get yourself a notepad and get ready to take down some notes because we're going to cover a lot of material today. So earlier today, I had about a 2-hour strategy session with one of our landlords. They recently picked up a property. They have a lot of low rents, and here we are in the October market. And rental increases aren't going well. So we walked through a lot of the different scenarios, which prompted me to put together this issue of the podcast for you today. So get ready. Here we go, and I'm going to start unpacking the October rental market. So the first thing we have to understand is the market turned from the summer rental season at the end of August. At the end of August, people are moving. They want to be in their new homes before the kids start school. And a couple other tips that you need to know as a landlord. September 15th in Massachusetts, under sanitary code, is the beginning of heating season. So good idea at the end of August. I know it's October now, but good idea as soon as possible to have all your furnaces checked out, cleaned, make sure they're functioning and operating now before we start hitting those freezing temperatures, because weekends and overnight calls are just going to be a waste of money if you can do the preventive maintenance now. So you can pay for it now for less money, or you can wait until it's an emergency, have irate tenants, probably have to put them in hotels, and it'll cost you a lot more. Also a good idea to start sending out those notices to all your tenants, because they may still have air conditioners in the windows. And especially if you're paying for the heat or utilities in a property, you definitely want to make it part of your written rental agreement that from September 15th all the way to April 15th, which I believe is the end of heating season on sanitary code, that they can't have air conditioners in their windows. Also, October, probably just before Thanksgiving, we're going to be doing the majority of our fall cleanups, getting the leaves taken up, cutting back shrubs and brushes, getting ready for winter plowing. There's the next thing we have to worry about. Over the past 2 weeks, I have been up to my eyeballs getting estimates for over 84 properties that need to be plowed. And as of this recording, I'm down to 24. All the emails have been sent out, so we're just finalizing these contracts to have this all buttoned up for the plowing contracts. And another thing that you need to think about with these plowing contracts, you're going to get hit with unexpected expenses. We don't know how much it's going to snow, and I was talking with one of our virtual assistants this morning about this. I mean, snow's all pretty on a postcard, but I hate having to pay for the removal for it because it's just like throwing money away. It gives you no return on value, and it's just 100% expense, but you absolutely have to do it. Sanitary code does require within 24 hours after a snowstorm in Massachusetts that snow and ice must be removed down to the surface. If you're not doing that, and if you don't have someone licensed and insured who's doing your snow removal, you're liable. So good idea to get that all taken care of. And then the last thing you want to be concerned about is heating calls and frozen pipes that can happen. So you definitely want to make sure all your heating systems are functional. Not a bad idea to have your furnaces bled out, get all the gunk out of the bottom of them, make sure they're running at tip-top shape right now. What you'll pay for maybe 50, 100, 150 bucks for really good cleaning right now could save you thousands of dollars in damage at the end of a billing cycle, which you're not prepared for. So, as I said, August marked the end of the summer season. And why is that critical? Obviously, school starts late August, so now families are in their routine for waking up the kids, getting them on the school buses, all this stuff. So families stop moving. We also see at the end of August, beginning of September, the numbers of rental applications that we receive drop dramatically. For us, our size company, we see in the summer season anywhere from 400 to 500 rental applications and people looking for apartments within a 30-day span. Quickly looking, I'll just take a quick look over here. I'll be able to give you that number as of today's date. Our dashboard right now, we have 180 people looking for apartments and only 53 rental applications that we're looking at. I mean, the good news, we only have 5 vacancies, so we push year-round at under 2% vacancies, which is great, but it gets a little bit harder in the colder seasons. So screening becomes harder as well. And why? Well, there's less people out there, so you really have to be more careful, and we'll get into that in just a second here. So we found historically doing this, we've been around for over 20 years, and we know the different times of the year, we know the different cycles and some of the things that we need to look out for. So as I mentioned, October begins the winter rental market. I mean, it's not winter yet, but we have to think that way, because anyone giving or looking at an apartment in October needs to give their landlord a 30-day notice. So a good tenant is going to give their landlord a notice, full rental period under mass housing law, Mass General Law 186 subsection 15B. A 30-day notice is not from the second of the month to the second of the month. It encompasses a full rental period, which is from the first of the next month to the end of the next month. So this is being recorded on October 23rd. Anyone who we're going to rent an apartment to right now, if they're good tenants, are going to give their landlord a 30-day notice, which is November 1st to the end of November, which means they're not moving in until December 1st. So October lease-ups happen in December for good tenants. And let's talk about that a little bit. So we have found historically from Halloween, trick or treat, all the way to Valentine's Day is the slow season for rental market lease-ups. Obviously, we've talked about why some of this is. People don't want to move during Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving they do their Black Friday shopping and set up the Christmas tree. They don't want to move right now. And right about now, they're decorating their houses for Halloween. So you've got Halloween, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, and that's the season that people aren't moving. They're settling in and doing family type things. Then after January, some people get on the ball, start doing their taxes, get their tax returns, and that's when we see a tick come back up in February. When people start getting their tax returns, they are getting more money so they can afford a first, last, and security. And even though it's still winter, they may start moving or looking for an apartment in February, which will put them into March or April, which is the beginning of the spring market, and then the cycle starts all over again. So, for your note takers, from Halloween to Valentine's Day, it's more difficult to lease up a unit. Let's keep going. So, October rentals are no trick or treat. We have a higher number of people who have to move. These may be evictions, non-payment of rents, or for whatever reason, they are forced into a situation where they have to look for a new place to live. So screening tenants becomes much more critical in this market. There are fewer good candidates to pick from, so you absolutely cannot cut corners this time of year. October quit notices, and this was the conversation we had with our client this morning, if we have to start serving out October notice to quit notices, they're not going to take place until November or December. And the courts have been known to be more lenient during the holidays, handing out judgments. They may let them stay until January. I can't say they apply pressure on landlords, but they really want to see you in arbitration, try to work with these families, even though you're not collecting rent and now you're probably paying for the mortgage and the heat. It's hard. So if you can secure good tenants, and we'll talk about some of the ways to do that in just a minute here. As I said, the courts can be more lenient serving out holiday judgments, and your government assistance agencies are closed for more holidays. They're going to be taking time off for Thanksgiving. They're going to be taking time off the last 2 weeks of December, and it's going to be very hard to get things moving forward. So if you can button up all of your paperwork and get everything taken care of now, so much better. You may need to lower the rents in this rental season. Obviously, people are your candidates, your tenants are going to have a higher expense because now they're paying rent, and they may not be able to pay the market rents that you've been charging in the summer. Now, who wants to sign up a December lease where people need to renew in December? Probably nobody, because that forces you into a situation to have less leverage. So if you're leasing somebody up in this winter season from October to February, you may want to consider a shorter term lease or possibly doing a tenant at will. Tenant at will, you can raise the rent whenever. A lease, you have to wait at the anniversary. So say someone's going to do October or November, December, January, February, March, April. So we may do a 6-month lease after October, or a 4-month lease or a 5-month lease to get them into the spring season. At that point, we can raise the rent, start a new lease, and actually spread out our lease renewals around our calendar year. So we're never getting hit at one specific month where we're going to have a lot of turnover, a lot of vacancies, and just get overwhelmed, kind of like student rentals. And anyone who knows student rentals, you can't even talk to these people after May through July because they are just straight out. So you may need to lower the rents. You may need to do shorter term for faster increases. And I hate to say it, but we have had to evict people in the winter. It's not easy, but I will say this, you absolutely need to have a bulletproof rental lease agreement, either a lease agreement or a rental agreement. Our property management company, Bel Air Property Management, we've got over 20 years of experience in these rental markets. So we kind of know the different strategies and our position at different times of year, how we should handle in spring, in summer, in fall, and winter, and some of the different tips and strategies that we use to ensure that our clients are getting the best possible returns on their investments. And I'm not saying you have to come with us, but you definitely, if you're going to use a property manager, you should vet your property manager and just ask them, hey, what do you see happening in the different cycles of the year, and what are your strategies, and how do you prepare for it? So have plans and strategies in place to make it to Valentine's Day, because after then, you're going to see people starting to loosen up their wallets a little bit. They'll be past all the holidays. January, they're going to get all those December bills, but then their tax returns will be coming in, and they may start looking for a new place, which will get us into the spring market. Whew. So, happy Halloween, everybody. Trick or treat, and I hope that this filled up your candy bag with a lot of sweets and goodies that you can enjoy. And I hope you took notes. And if you didn't take notes, feel free to rewind this and listen to it again. And for those of you visiting us, please stay tuned in for more tips. Click, like, subscribe. We would love it if you have comments on other tips you might be able to share on October rentals. And by all means, share this podcast with your friends. Obviously, we're on YouTube, and we are also located on all major podcast platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you another great day. This is Brian Lucier from the Why Not Real Estate Podcast signing off, and we'll see you on the next one.